Hello. Good morning, everyone. First, to start, I'd like to thank Brian and Maggie and Asian Hustle Network for giving me this amazing opportunity to share my story with everyone here. Now, that said, to caveat, this is the first time I've run through these slides, so just cut me some slack. I'm going to be winging it a little bit. Okay, so why don't we start with my background? I was from an immigrant family, and my parents came to the US when I was 4, and when they came over here, they left me with my grandmother back in China. And when I became older, I realized that that actually wasn't really normal, that most of my American friends grew up with their parents, they didn't grow up with their grandparents. And only later on in life, after meeting with more immigrant friends, Asian immigrant friends, did I realize that, yeah, actually that was kind of normal. A lot of parents in my generation would, leave the countryside or go into the cities or go study abroad, and they would leave, their kids behind to be taken care of by the grandparents. And I just, having become a parent myself, just thinking that through, just imagining how difficult of a decision that had to be to leave your kids to try to go and find new opportunities or a better life for yourself and your family. And I am immensely appreciative of what they've done, even though it is such a difficult sacrifice. And I think about that every day. And if they didn't take that opportunity to do that, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be able to have the amazing journey and opportunity that I've had, and I wouldn't be able to share it with all of you. So, a little bit more about me. When I was 7, I joined my parents and moved to Houston, Texas. I was in a school where I was the only Asian kid. I didn't speak any English. Everyone wanted to pick a fight with me for some reason. They thought I knew Kung Fu coming from China. I didn't, but I did crush it at math, which counted for something. I was happy about that. And in my upbringing with my parents, they try to set a really high standard. They try to set a really high bar. They wanted me to work hard, and they wanted me to expect to get A's. All my friends were thinking, well, C is average, C is okay. For my parents, you had to get A's. And if you got an A minus, they were like, something's going on. I did get some A minuses in physical education, but yeah. So you guys might know this is maybe like an Asian dad story, which is so this founder, this entrepreneur, he's raising his first round, and he raises successfully, and then he goes to his dad and he says, "Hey, Dad, I raised money for my company. We just did our Series A. We were successful." And his dad's like, "Series A? Why not Series A plus?" So after that, from Houston, we moved to LA, and I did middle school, high school in LA. Did undergrad in the UCs. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it was a pretty normal upbringing as an immigrant family, probably pretty normal for most Asians in the LA area. And so hopefully my background can be pretty relatable, and also maybe my journey and some of the lessons I've learned can become pretty relatable as a result. And so that's a comic that a magazine did for me about my Crunchyroll journey. But along this journey, I learned a number of different lessons, professional lessons as well as personal ones. And I wanted to share some of those lessons with all of you. So, professional lessons. The first one, which is vision without execution is daydreaming. So, what does every single successful company in the entire world have in common? Every single one. Think about it. They all started in a garage, in a room, in maybe a apartment or a college dorm. They all started with an idea. They all started with one or two, maybe a few founders. The key difference is they're successful because they took that first step, okay? Even though they had vision, they took that most important first step. And it's no different with Crunchyroll. With Crunchyroll, after I went into Berkeley for computer science, I had the good fortune to work at an internship at Hot or Not. How many of you guys know what Hot or Not is? Okay, it's maybe dating myself here. It's basically a Tinder, but before Tinder. You would rate people from 1 to 10, whether they're hot or not. In my internship, we were all computer science coders. What I learned was that just build and ship it, and then see what happens. And don't overthink it. Don't think too much about what is the TAM or is it interesting. If you found it useful, just build it and just ship it. And that's basically what we did. With Crunchyroll, myself, my co-founders, we basically were anime fans, and we thought this was a great idea. And we basically decided that we wanted to build it and ship it. And so we did. We took about a month to build the first version of the website. And it was good enough. And we put it out there, and we launched it, and then the rest is kind of history. So we took that first step. And the journey, every journey of 1,000 miles starts with that first step. And if you don't take that first step, then you don't get on that journey and you don't go anywhere. Most importantly, you have to take that first step. Okay, so now we've shipped Crunchyroll. What's next? Well, we actually didn't know what we were doing. We were just computer science nerds. We knew how to code, we knew how to make a website. Otherwise, we had no idea what we were doing. We built the website, we launched it. This was in summer of 2006. And immediately we shared it with our friends, and we just got more and more friends sharing with their friends. The reason we launched in the first place was because we were anime fans, and we wanted to watch anime right when it came out. At the time, you had to go on a website to download a torrent and wait for it to download, and maybe sometimes you get a virus. It was just a poor experience. And YouTube just launched at the time as well, and you can find anime on YouTube, but they had a 10-minute limit of how long the video has to be. And so when you uploaded videos, they would get cut up into 10-minute chunks. And so if you want to watch anime on YouTube, you have to go look for part 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, and sometimes you can't find one of the parts, and it was just a really bad experience. And so what we said, we're just going to go and build it and launch it and see what happens. We did that. We got a lot of users pretty quickly, spread through word of mouth, and then the real fun happened. The servers were just blowing up, and we had to add more and more servers. And this was at a time when you can't just go on Amazon and get more cloud servers. You actually had to make or order big physical servers, and you have to ship it to or send it to a data center. And being Asian, we were cheap or frugal. We didn't buy Dells. We basically built our own servers, and that was the most cost-effective way of doing it. And then we would drive it to the data center every weekend, every nights and weekends. We would be working on this. And after a while, we started getting these things called DMCAs. We were engineers. We didn't know what a DMCA is. But if you're a content creator, you probably know what a DMCA is. And so at the time, we were like, okay, what's copyright? I don't know. So we were looking that up. It's kind of like that scene in Office Space where these engineers were looking up how to money launder. We were basically looking up, okay, what is copyright? And so that kept us going. And then VC started approaching us. And then we had to figure out, okay, how do we license all this content? And so that was just the beginning. And we had a lot more challenges after that. And if you were to ask me today, knowing what I know now, how difficult that journey would have been, would I have taken it? I don't know. I think the answer is I don't really know, but maybe not, right? But that's why sometimes it's better to be naive than to be experienced and jaded. Because if you're naive, you really don't know how difficult the journey is, and that's okay because you're taking one step at a time, you're making progress one step at a time, and sooner than later you realize that you've reached some amazing milestone. At the time, we said naivety is basically our superpower. We even ended up asking experts when we were a illegal user uploaded content site. We asked them, hey, how do we license content? You guys are anime experts. Tell us. And they were like, can't help you. This is too difficult. You're not gonna be able to do it. So the experts were telling us we couldn't do what we were doing. And you know what? We were naive. We were like, I don't believe you. We were just gonna, we're gonna try it. So I set up an office in Japan, went out there, spent most of 2008 in Japan, meeting Japanese licensors, and then every time I would just ask them to license to us their content. And sooner or later, because we're persistent, because it was the right moment in time, because of a confluence of things, they decided to start working with us. And so if you think about it, we succeeded because we were naive enough to do what we wanted to do. We didn't let experience stop us from trying. And a lot of times, if you have experience, you think maybe this is not going to succeed because of your experience. But in doing so, you actually stop yourself from trying. And in not trying, you actually will fail 100% of the time. So, about success and trying. We tried a lot of different things. We tried many, many different things. If you look at what's on Crunchyroll today, you see what has worked. But what you don't see is all the things that we've tried that didn't work. And the most sure way of finding success is to just try one more time. For Edison, he wanted to find what is the right composition to making a filament for a light bulb. And he tried so many different combinations of things. And every time he failed, he didn't say he failed. He said, I found one more thing that is going to get in the way of my success, one more obstacle. And now I'm a little bit closer to my success of finding the perfect material for filament. And that's one of the reasons why we were successful. We kept trying many, many different things. If you've been to Japan, you might recognize what this is. It's a claw machine, or they call it a UFO catcher, because I guess in Japan, UFOs come down and they grab Hello Kitties or whatever. There's actually a difference here and a lesson to be learned, which in the US, if you look at a UFO catcher, people treat that as a game of chance. And that's because the UFO catchers here are actually regulated as a game of chance. So every time you play with a UFO catcher here, you get a chance to grab it, and the claws will either grab or it won't. And people here treat it as, I'm going to go for that home run, right? I'm going to have a chance to go for that home run. In Japan, they actually play this game very, very differently. What they do is they keep using the claw, and they keep nudging or pushing the plushie a little bit closer each time towards the edge. And eventually, they're going to succeed. So they're treating this as a game of persistence, a game of trying multiple times rather than hitting it that one time. And what you see on Crunchyroll is exactly the same. We tried so many different things. The reason we have anime on Crunchyroll is not because we decided anime is the thing that's going to work. We had Korean dramas on Crunchyroll. We had K-pop. We had J-dramas. We had manga. We had all sorts of different content. And we looked at the data, and we saw what worked and what didn't, and we kept what worked. All the other features on Crunchyroll, you see, they're a result of us trying many different things and only keeping the ones that we saw had the metrics to stick around. And so the only true way of failing, I think, is to stop trying. If you don't stop trying, if you keep trying, you will eventually succeed. So from there, I want to share some personal lessons about what I learned through my journey on Crunchyroll. Some of these may be pretty similar to the professional lessons, but maybe more framed in a personal perspective. But hopefully you find them relatable. So with Crunchyroll, and this is true in maybe most other industries, one of the things that was really challenging was that, if you asked me when we were growing, did I see Crunchyroll as successful? I would say no, because 99% of my day, 99% of the days with Crunchyroll, I was fighting fires. I was, going from one thing to another, making sure we, didn't die, right? Maybe 1% of the time I actually felt good about where we were, but 99% of the time it was rough. And you kind of see that, and you kind of take that personally, because all you see out there is all these companies so successful. They raise so much money. Every company raising money. Every company has big partnership to announce. Every company has a big acquisition, or they were acquired. And what you're not realizing when you take a step back is that you're seeing everyone else's highlight reel, right? You're seeing everyone else's highlight reel, and you are the only person who sees everything behind. You see all of the lowlights for yourself as well as all the highlights, but you're comparing your lowlights with everyone else's highlight reel. Okay? So, on insecurity, don't let that stop you from trying. Don't let that stop you from moving forward, and just realize that you're seeing everyone else's highlight reel while you yourself is seeing the true picture. But everyone out there is struggling. They're having the same challenges as you. They're just not sharing what they don't want you to see. And on success. So with success, it's something that you have to put effort into every day. Because success is, I think, not really something that is a benchmark. It is a byproduct of the effort that you put into your work each and every single day, which is why I like this quote so much. Success isn't owned, it's leased, and rent is due every single day. And it's a byproduct. You will get success if you put in the work each and every single day. And if you don't, you will not. Some of you might recognize who that is, Rock Lee. And final point, and I think this is maybe worth reiterating because I think it is so important. Success is just a sum of small efforts that you're putting in every single day. And in fact, if you look at all of the lessons I've learned or all the lessons I've shared here, you'll realize that they're actually the same lesson. And that lesson is putting in the work every single day. Small effort will lead to success. And don't let things such as vision or experience or insecurity get in the way of you putting in that small effort every single day, day in and day out. You guys might know One Punch Man. I think the important thing to talk about here is just highlighting how important it is to put in that little bit of work every single day. because that is what is going to define success. To give an example, for example, let's say you said you want to set a goal, and your goal was to read a lot of books. What if I told you that all you need to do is read 30 pages a day? You might not think that's a lot of pages, but you have to put in the work. It's that simple, but you have to put in the work. So read 30 pages every day, and the next day you read 30 pages. Well, not everyone can do that. Some people, they'll say, well, you know what? It's just 30 pages. I'll do it later, and then they don't do it. Or I'm tired, and they don't do it. Others might say, you know what? I read 30 pages yesterday. I was successful yesterday. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it today. I'm going to take a break, or I'm going to celebrate the fact that I did 30 pages yesterday. And then others might say, you know what? I'm going to put off the 30 pages, but I'll read 60 tomorrow. These are the simple things that keep you from success. If you, every single day, put in the work and did 30 pages, then every 10 days, you're going to be reading a 300-page book. In 1 year, you would have read 36 books. Now think about that. You didn't set a goal to read 36 books. You just wanted to read more books. And every day, you put in the work, and you just put in 30 pages. But in doing so, you ultimately have succeeded at your goal of reading 36 books. It is that simple, and yet it is hard until you do it. Okay, so how do you motivate yourself to put in the work each day, day in and day out, to read the book or read the pages or make progress towards your goal? Well, here's what I'd like to conclude, and I'd like to share with you the story of the three bricklayers. So there was a traveler who was walking through a town, and he sees three bricklayers. The first bricklayer was not doing too much, just laying bricks. And the traveler goes to the bricklayer and says, "Sir, what are you doing?" And the bricklayer says, "Well, I'm just laying bricks. I'm just paid, and I'm just laying bricks." Okay, so the traveler goes to the second bricklayer. And the traveler says, "Sir, what are you doing?" And the bricklayer is working a little bit harder. And the bricklayer says, "Well, I'm laying bricks because I'm making this wall, right?" So the second bricklayer has a little bit more of a bigger picture of what they're trying to do, and they're making walls. Okay, so now the traveler is curious because the third bricklayer is also laying bricks, but the third bricklayer is extremely energetic and excited and enthusiastic about the work. So the traveler goes to the third bricklayer and asks, "Sir, what are you doing?" And the third bricklayer says, "Well, I know it doesn't look like much. I'm just laying bricks, but soon this set of bricks will become the wall. And after I've put down a few more walls, this is going to serve as the foundation for a school for our town. Our town doesn't have a school, so finally my work can help get the kids of this school a better education." And so in this example, the bricks is the everyday effort you're putting in. The goal is the school that you're building. And if you keep sight of the goal while doing the simple things every single day, you will succeed. I know you will. Thank you.